original Jumanji film was my nan's favourite.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is genuinely true that towards the end of her life, she had bladder trouble.
Ah.
So we had to put plastic sheeting down.
Ah.
Because there was the fear that it would make her laugh so much she'd piss herself.
The ultimate compliment.
So every time I think of Jumanji, I think of my nan giggling until she pissed herself.
Oh, that's a good memory.
Yeah. Have you ever...
On the set of Nacho Libre, I did come very close, and I had to run out into a field and let her rip. There might have been some enchiladas poblanas.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know that there was a camera crew capturing all the magic.
Oh, dear.
You could see by my facial expressions, there was a powerful release taking place.
So were you trying to kind of, like, kid them that you weren't shitting?
No, I should have. Everything's fine here. Just one more moment.
I don't think anybody, though, has a story, and I would say in the universe, where they've travelled based on a wet dream. For the people that don't know, would you explain the story about the reason why you went to Africa or the Amazon?
Well, I have this dream, very specific. I'm floating down the Amazon River on my back, buck naked. I'm wrapped up in anacondas and pythons, piranhas are around, freshwater sharks, alligators, crocodiles. I'm floating on my back. I look up on the cliff. There's this cliff, a really high cliff, 200 feet high, and it goes all the way to the horizon. And lined up all the way along the cliff are African tribesmen with shields and spears. And just in the dream, as I start to go, oh my gosh, this is a nightmare, it becomes just the opposite. And it was a wet dream. Now I wake up in 92 and I go, whoa, that was weird. That had all the elements of a nightmare, but it was a hell of a lot better, right? What does that mean?
Yeah.
I forget about it. Cut to 1996, 4 years later. I have the exact same dream for the very first time since the last one 4 years later. Now I have it the second time and I go, no, wait a minute. Exact same dream, exact same outcome. Somebody's trying to tell me something. So I go, bam, I go to the Atlas of Africa and start looking for the Amazon. Well, as most people know, you can look for the Amazon for a long time in the continent of Africa because it ain't there. It's in South America. So I go to the Amazon in South America, put on a backpack, say I'm just heading out there. I'm gonna go float the Amazon and see what part of this half of the dream is. Had a wonderful trip, 22 days of my own that I write about in the book. Well, now cut to 99, 3 years later. Completely forgot about the dream. I have it again. Exact same dream. I'm like, oh, okay. What's the sign here? Well, I guess the sign is I gotta chase down the other half of the dream, which was the African tribesmen. So where the hell do I go in Africa? I don't know where to go. A couple nights I'm thinking about it. I'm listening to one of my favorite musicians, Ali Farka Touré. I'm like, oh, he's African. Where's he from? I go look at the liner notes. He's from Nia Funke. Boom. I get a one-way ticket to Bamako, hitchhike to Mopti, meet a guide. We take a boat 4 days up and go find Ali Farka and Nia Funke, and then I hike the Banjiagar for the next 18 days after that.
But this is it. But what is so remarkable and unique about you? If you were, let's say, like a northern man from England, and you went, I've had a wet dream. I've got to go to Africa. Instantly, there's something about the Texan drawl that makes us, the reader, go, oh, I need a wet dream. I need to travel. Well, what I want to know, did you tell anybody when you got to Peru? I had this image of them going, yeah. No. So I had this image of them going, business or pleasure? And you go, where dream?
Absolute pleasure, sir.
How did you sort of entertain yourself as a kid?
I was an odd kid because you couldn't punish me, because if I went in my room, I was just happy.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I just created a world in there, man. It was fantastic.
So is that where...
It's like writing, I had legal pads of this is what the meaning of the universe is.
Yeah.
And I was doing comedy routines, putting stuff together for the next time, you know, a human being crossed the threshold of our house.
Yeah, I read a beautiful story that you throw yourself down the stairs.
Yeah, that's how you were generally greeted coming into my home.
Yeah, but
it's
so...
like an 8-year-old child throwing himself down the flight of stairs. Yeah. And then getting up and doing it in slow motion.
I love that, yeah. But that's a great joke at 8.
Absolutely.
But it's that weird thing where you would not have known. You just go, that's an idea.
Yeah.
Because that was in sort of a version of that was in Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
So do you ever look back at those notes from 8-year-old you and go, that would be a good film?
I'm still using the stuff I came up with when I was 5.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Now, I was going to talk about weed.
Yeah.
I was curious, because you're a massive stoner. Let's look around. And you're currently in England.
Yeah.
It's not legal here.
Here, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a quick story. Last time I was here, this is a year ago, so I came out to go visit JJ, who's making Rise of Skywalker, what we were just calling Star Wars 9 then. So I came out and visited him and stuff, and they're shooting over at, what, Pinewood?
Pinewood, yeah.
So, you know, I was like, hey, man, what's close to Pinewood? And I saw Slough, and I was like, Slough, like in The Office, man. So I told my wife, I was like, we're going to Slough, man. And we got to Slough.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing wrong with it, but like,
But it's not a Slough.
It's not Slough, you know? So, and also, like, I'd walk around, I'd be like, The Office, right? They're like, that was 20 years ago, bro. So, you know, we went to stay in Slough, and...
You stayed in Slough?
Yeah, we rented a house in
You didn't
Slough.
have a look around and go, we should back out here.
I honestly, it felt like where I grew up. It looked like my hometown. And
Tomorrow we're going to Swindon.
Yes, the Swindon lot. So I was delighted to hang out, go to the movie and stuff, but I had, you know, weed with me and stuff. And at the end of the trip, I did a Q&A at the Prince Charles in Leicester Square.
Yes, yeah.
So a show and stuff like that. And then at the end of the show, I was getting on a plane like 4 hours later in the morning. So I still had weed left over. So I was telling the audience, I was like, hey man, so like after the show's done, like meet me outside and I'll give you all guys all the weed I got left. And everyone's like, okay. In a really like fucking like, oh my God, nobody ever does this. And I do this all the time back in the States. So when I went backstage, the kids at the Prince Charles were like, bro, if you give away one joint, you could go to jail for 10 years. And I was like, what, this jail in here? I was like, nobody told me. I had no idea, so I had to go out and disappoint the fans.
Now, there you go.
Look at this. I mean, come on, this is like beautiful.
So, I read somewhere that you know the lyrics to Bon Jovi songs in Latin.
My friend Tiffany Laverda and I would translate Latin lyrics to Bon Jovi songs because we loved Bon Jovi, obviously.
Yeah.
But our favorite was Mala Medicina, Bad Medicine.
Oh, nice.
I can't believe I remember that.
Did you perform them?
Mala Medicina, like that, yeah.
Lovely.
I studied Latin for 6 years, so I could read the Aeneid.
So, what, at secondary school you did Latin?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wowzers.
One of the main things I remember being able to say is edeme sum secunda mensa.
Oh, that sounds
Which
lovely.
means, eat me, I'm dessert.
Oh. But didn't you have like trouble like extras when you were doing Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah, so it was like 17 years ago, so I was relatively young looking then. And I think we had a lot of zombie extras outside the Winchester pub location, which was actually in New Cross. The unit list said, do not wear any football colours other than Millwall. And I've never seen that printed on the top of the unit list before.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and it was deadly serious.
Yeah, yeah.
So we were in it, like, outside a pub in New Cross, and there was one, like, there were a lot of extras there, and there was one, like, guy that was in his 70s, an extra that was, you know, particularly amazing looking. And he came up to me thinking that I was a runner on the movie, and he looked at the set, and he turned to me and he goes, "Ooh, straight to video for this one."
Wow. And how do you... did you say anything, or did it...
I just, like, the polite man, I went, yeah. I didn't say, I'm the fucking director,
Yeah.
we'll sack. I couldn't sack him because his face was too good. He had really good cheekbones. He was like one of the best zombies of the day.
That was such a wonderful sentence you just said, Edgar. But
You gotta have a good bone structure to be a good zombie.
To be a zombie,
It's true.
I would sack you if you weren't so genetically perfect. What tunes do you dance to, if you don't mind me asking?
Thanks for asking. It's mainly Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
For me, do a lot of dancing in the dark. Yeah, you know, just do all that stuff. Yeah.
Have you
Sat
met,
down.
Have you met Springsteen? Hanging out in your...
Honestly, he is my hero.
Is he?
He's the one person I worship him.
Have you seen the Netflix special?
I saw it live on Broadway.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, no big deal. I went to see him, the last time I saw him, I was in LA, and I went 2 nights in a row. And the first night, every night it turns out, he does this stage dive where he kind of falls back on the hands of the crowd and they kind of carrying him above them. And he keeps singing Hungry Heart the whole way.
Yeah.
He goes all the way across the crowd to the stage. And so I went the first night, I was enviously watching these people, you know, being the hands. And I thought, tomorrow night, I'm getting a piece of that action. So I knew where to stand. So I went back the following night, waited for it, I knew it was coming, Hungry Heart, here he comes. I line up, pushing people out the way, you know, old ladies. Yeah, here he comes. And he's coming towards me, and I receive the boss, And I'm taking him like that, and his sort of feet are on the person's shoulders ahead of me. And then I realise, because I'm 6'7", that he's sort of he's going up vertically, and the person behind can't reach the boss to receive him. So I'm now taking the full weight of Bruce Springsteen in front of 30,000 fans. And he's a small man, but he's a dense man.
Yes.
And I was feeling the stride, and he didn't know what was going on. He was still hungry, hot. And I'm thinking, Christ, I'm going to drop the boss.
Yeah.
And so I remembered.
An
old lesson. If you've got heavyweight, bend at the knees.
Yes.
So I started out to gently lower the boss like that, and then pass him on to the next person. And he's none the wiser. But
presumably you're exhausted at this point.
Oh my goodness me! I couldn't stay for the rest of the 2 hours. I had to go home. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Were you able to be in the moment?
No, too nervous, too scared.
But there must have
Honestly,
just
genuine fear. I was going to drop
because you're holding your hero.
Well, that's it. But imagine if
you're
you're
gonna
the
drop
person,
your hero,
and he breaks his neck, and
Yeah.
he's just all his future concerts just in a wheelchair. He can't sing "Hungry Heart" ever again. The pain's too much. He won't let me in. He could see me in the crowd, 2 feet above everyone else.
And presumably,
Oh, it's him!
presumably all of this is going through your mind in that 2 seconds.
Yeah. It was really, honestly, really worrying.